welcome back to another streaming video. Today we're going to continue our journey on SkyFactory 3. In the last stream, I started a brand new series on Cobblemon, and I was actually really enjoying it too. Got a nice shiny Pokemon on it, managed to start building up somewhat of a base, and even just started heading towards the first gym that I gotta fight so I can get Pokemon leveled up a little bit more. If you guys haven't seen that, I highly recommend it. It will be down on Twitch as well as up on the YouTube on my VODs channel. So go check both those out if you want to, that is. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and continue on this world now for a little bit. So, where we were left off. Oh, this breaks. I did not realize it broke. Alright, where we left off was we were working on getting this stuff set up. And we do need a lot of levels for it. So that way we can get the Fortune 3 and put it on this. So that way I can break these and get a lot of ore back. But until then, you know, there's not really too much that we can do. Now what's really cool is I was able to figure out how to build the massive chest to hold a lot of storage, as well as do all of this. And I think this is actually like the better way to make all that. All the cobblestone into gravel and whatnot. See, there's quite a bit in here. I'm actually gonna go ahead and bring over the stuff that's over here. So that way all this can be used as well. So we got the heavy oak sieve, which I'll just place here. And this one I'll put here. Diamond goes in that one. Iron will go in this one. So now I can actually sift through all this as well, which is really, really nice. 9 more blocks. Let's go ahead and start sifting. Hopefully I get a lot of coal from this. I know technically for coal, that one's actually slightly better, but I would like to get some emeralds and some diamonds as well. Got 2 diamonds and an emerald, as well as 13 coal. Which is just enough. Uh-oh. Please tell me I can change that back. Okay, I can. Sweet. So now we got 11 coal in here, which is really, really nice. Let's see, we got a lot of cobblestone in there, but as for everything else, really seeing a whole lot. 5 emeralds, and up here 29 diamonds, which is a lot, I will say. We have a lot of nickel. Let's see, what could nickel be used with? Block nickel, nickel seeds, nickel plate, and smelt it down to nickel, or nickel, press it for more plate, arc furnace, constant ingot, copper, crusher, I could make into nickel grit, again, nickel grit, alright. I think I should try to make this, the base crafting seed. It's for prosperity and a seed. That right there. That's for prosperity. I don't know if I have any of that. Let's see. Oh, I have 13. Alright. That is enough to make 3 of them, I believe. Yeah. Okay, I don't know how I did that, but there we go. 3Ds. I can make it tier 1, which can make tier 2 along with stone, dirt, nature, wood, water, ice, and zombie. Using zombie chunks. Alright. Since I don't have this, mainly because I don't think I can exactly. Yeah. So to make this, I need 4 more of that, 4 of these, and a diamond. Okay. Well, how do I get more of these then? Iron on sand and diamond on sand. Diamond gives 16% and iron gives 8. So this I could go ahead make 8 blocks and sift it down. Let's see. Do we get a lot or is it gonna be only a little bit? I got enough to make 3 more. Ancient spores, which honestly I don't know what this could be used on. I do it. Let me see if I have spare dirt, because this can be used to make something. I want to see if we can. Let's see. Dirt. Ah, here it is. Okay, so that's how you get mycelium. Right, I also got gold, and I got quartz enriched iron dust, which can be made into quartz enriched iron, which I actually do have another one of those. And there is a lot you can make with this. Okay, good to know. Guess I'll just go ahead and throw it into this furnace, so that way it gets done nice and quickly. And everything goes into here. It'll get confusing fast, but it's fine. Oh, I need a diamond, so I can make the fusion crystal, as well as some inferium. I don't think it's in there. Have I grabbed it yet? Okay, I know I've definitely grabbed it, because it's not in there. I don't know if I had a whole lot. Ah, here it is. I'm gonna grab these guys. I'm gonna make diamond nugget. What could this be used for? Wire head, modeling tool head, flat sculpting spade, curve sculpting. A lot of sculpting stuff. Regular diamond, diamond sign. And then I can make diamond chip, which could be used for a lot of things. This is also kind of cheap, because one of these makes 27. But that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here for this. Used to upgrade the dust. How do I get epic bacon? Alright, so I need a pork chop, and then red dye, orange dye, yellow, green, cyan, purple, and magenta to get it. That times 3. This, and then another star. Which, as we all know, comes from the wither. Alright. Lots of uses. Ooh, instantly grows a crop. That kind of feels like Ferium seeds. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead this, because this can only be used to make tier 1. Honestly, I should make a little bit of that. Actually, I'll just make it all. So I think this only has 1 use. Yep. Alright, so now I got Inferium and tier 1 crafting. I'm gonna go ahead and grab some bones out of here. Do I not have any? I don't have any. Alright. Chicken manure. Let's do this. Oh, I should see if there's any useful stuff down here. There is a common loot bag. What's the hat? Alright, let's go ahead and head back up and then head on over here. A few of these. No, they're not fully grown. It's fine. Alright, Farium. Oh, okay, so that does not grow like how everything else grows. Okay. Alright, well, let's see. What could I use on this? I can make tier 2s, stone, dirt, nature, wood, water, ice, and zombie. I think of all of these, I think the dirt one might be the best one to do, because if it gives blocks of dirt, that would be really, really nice. 4 that is needed. So I needed corners, this around it, and put one of these in. Dirt. Cluster. So all these makes it. And I don't have this one yet, but I have these 3. Make a nature essence, which I can use to actually make some stuff. Okay. A lot of stuff actually. But it all requires the seed reprocessor. Just 6 iron, solium ingot, mystical machine frame, which takes base essence ingot, and it also takes inferior. This one needs solium dust, which requires soul dust, and 4 of the prudent essence to make 1. To make this, I need soul stone. To make that, I need 4 soul sand and 5 stones, and I get 8. So an 8 makes this, and then this only makes 1. So that is an expensive craft. There, go ahead, place that down. Let's work on it. Okay, so that does not work on either, which is fine, but that's gonna take a very long time for it to grow. Alright, let's see, what else? What else can I use? Alright, if I make it with prudent, I could get tier 2, which can make lava, dye, nether, coal, pig, chicken, cow, sheep, slime, silicon, sulfur, aluminum, copper, aluminum brass, mystical flower, marble, limestone, and finally basalt. That is a lot. Tier 3. Iron, nether quartz, glowstone, redstone, obsidian, skeleton, creeper, spider, rabbit, guardian, silver, lead, night slime. Interesting. Ardite, electrical steel, redstone alloy, conductive iron, mana steel. Let's see what else. Black quartz and quartz enriched iron. Tier 4 can make gold, lapis, experience. Ours one get experience chunk. End seeds, blaze seeds, gas, enderman, steel, nickel, constantin, electrum, cobalt, solarium, dark steel, pulsating iron, and energetic alloy. And then finally, tier 5 can make diamonds, emeralds, wither skeleton, uranium, manilium, vibrant alloy, terrasteel, draconium, and yellorium. Okay. Well, I think the useful one is actually going to be this iron, the gold, and the diamond. But obviously, very expensive. There's the higher up we go. But I can see what I can make. So it takes 4 of these to make 1. Which after I can only make 6 more, so I think that's the highest I'll be able to go. Take 1 of these. I could surround it like that. Tier 2, again, fire, dye, nether, coal. I guess I could do coal. Oh, I don't have enough stuff to do it anymore. Oh, I saw green down here. Oh, and there's white. Alright, common has jungle. Uncommon has slime boost, redstone, cake, and podzol. Okay, so slime boosts do not do very much, it seems like. I wonder what happens if I try to jump though. Maybe it'll save me from fall damage. Oh, yep. Okay, I gotta figure out how this. So holding space. Make me stop. No. But still, that is a really nice way to get down, especially to the lower part, way down there. Let's be honest, this is more fun. Way more fun. Alright, but I gotta be careful when it comes to the bouncing though. And to get back up, it is still just go on very thin bridge of death and then swim very slowly up. So that's a nice find. Alright. So obviously the crafting seeds are gonna have to take a bit. Because I don't know if I can actually get the stuff I want in this video because it seems like this is just gonna take absolutely ages. Well, they both have 14s, that's good at least. And wait, will it give me essence and I have to? It might just give me essence, so I gotta figure out how to make this. This block is probably gonna be the most painful part of it. Cause at least this, like, I can get this really quickly. This I already have. Actually. It's right there. Still though, easy to craft. Oh, that's not as easy as I thought it was gonna be. Still, though. Should be fine. Anyway. This is what's gonna take the longest. Wither, dust, nether essence, heat, sand, tainted soil. Or I could do fluid block transformation with sand and witch water. Put water in a thing, in a barrel with mycelium. Ancient spores turned dirt into mycelium. Am I able to do that inside there as well? Spores. And then I just need 3 blocks of dirt. 3, not 4. Throw the seeds in there, I'll throw that. This. Suppose that as well. I have to like resort all this. Unfortunately. Oh. Okay, let me go try that real quick. I think the barrel's still over here. Oh, I can just use one of these. Okay, so I can't just put that in there. Probably put ancient spores in there, but I don't want to try that. Because this is the first step. I just gotta figure out how to get my hold mycelium. Not take this. Okay. Fire water. All right. Fluid transform. Fluid block. Alright, so the liquid goes in, and then that is added on. Do I have to place... Oh, I think I might have just figured it out. I think I have to take one of these barrels over here, place it on the mycelium, and then put water in it. Transforming 0. So yeah, I think that's what I was meant to do. Well, I'm glad I figured it out now. That's also going to take time. Everything takes so much time. Unfortunately. Oh, I can get 6 from the uncommon. Okay. Just trying to figure out more ways to get more. Ah, I think this is the only way to get more reliable. I already have multiple sheep, right? Yeah. So I got sheep, and sheep. Ooh, do I have pigs? Yeah, I got 2 pigs at least. So. All the animals go up and I come in and kill them all. I think I only got 1 out of that entire ordeal. Ooh, you. Cool, and I can just throw all these down. And then grab the, chicken went away. You have iron, more iron, and leather. And of course more of that for me. I have so many manure right now. It is actually insane. Yep. Wow. So that as well. And just grab all the, there we go. Alright, can I overload these with this stuff? Okay, I have so much, but I can try at least. No, it did not advance it at all, and I poured in a whole stack into it. Oh well. Water's definitely getting darker, so yeah, it's definitely working. Oh, I can make chicken manure block and fertilize dirt. Or I can make a lot. Oh, I can make a lot of dirt. I forgot I could do that. Right. There's a way to auto sort inventories. Alright, time to make more dirt. There's probably a way that I can do it automatically using hoppers. Which I think I might do because well, it looks like I can only make one hopper. Unfortunately. There's gotta be some iron pieces in here somewhere, unless I used them all. And silver. No, I'm not seeing any. Oh, there's a little bit, but not enough for me to, like, actually kind of care. Seems like my slime boost started to make me go faster, which is both cool and scary. There are so many chickens in here. Oh well. Time to add more to the piles. A lot more. Look at all these chickens. Alright. So many of them. Can't wait for them all to grow up and just get absolutely slaughtered. Okay. The barrel is still so far away. But it also means that it's gonna get closer and closer and closer to being done. There's the dirt. Give me that. I think I should also try to put all these chickens into like a massive hopper system. But that costs a lot of iron, and I don't really have a lot of iron. And this coal is running out. And it's running out fast. Blaze powder. Because I could crush blaze powder and get some lava in there. Oh, cake does not stack. That sucks. What did I? Oh yeah, blaze powder. I figured out how to make this work. Turned out all I was missing was the barrel next to it. Oh. Oh. Lava can't be put in that. Okay, well then, I'm gonna have to figure out a new plan with that then. Oh well. 95% done. What if I just right click right now? Just really get rid of all progress. I feel like sometimes the slime boosts go into effect, sometimes it doesn't. Oh yeah. Does only after I jump off a block and I keep momentum. As soon as momentum dies, so do the boots. Alright. Well, that's fine. More dirt for me. Alright. Which water? Hopefully I can make a source, because otherwise each and every one of these is gonna take ages. I really hope I can make a source. Some source blocks. The infinity room's slightly accelerated, but it was also planted first, so that could be why. Oh well. More dirt, and add more of this back in. I feel like the composting on the fertilizer goes really fast. Or maybe it's just because I'm trying to convert witch water right now, and it's being painfully slow. It could be both. Alright. Do. We have another of these that I could craft. Throw into there. Oh. That will be ready when it gets ready. There's a lot of chicken manure on the ground right now. I think even the baby chickens like naturally reproduce it. Oh. I should probably also try and get the Tinker's Construct stuff started too. Press all three. I am gonna have to go down here. and grab this. So that way I can get some sand. Alright, let's head on up. And just dig down. There we go. Now I got 2 stacks of both. And then to make the clay, how much is that? For every 4 blocks of each, I need 1. Which means I need 16. So I grab the regular hammer out of here. I'm gonna go ahead and put some of the stuff back that I don't necessarily need at the moment. Alright, get all these filled back in. Now I can have even more dirt. Especially with how free that essentially is. And I'll throw the rest of that in there for now. Alright. Now, let's go ahead and get these guys broken down. I need the dust, so I can turn it, all of it, into what I need. Now I'm running low on food now, so I'm gonna have to get that cooked. Put that back. That's what I need. Alright. I'll actually break this entire. Afterward and repeat. And now I have almost all the blocks I need, and in fact, I have now. So now I can go ahead and make a whole bunch of grout. That in. Alright. Using every single piece in there, which is nice. So this, I don't think. Oh, I only had half. Oh, well, time to do it all again. I'm gonna have 4 stacks of this stuff. Whoops. There we go. And now that I got the dust, it's time to do this entire process again. Of filling in all the buckets. And then clayifying the dust. And repeating. that's all the grout. I'm going to make that, and then I can throw it into here. This is losing power. This might be losing power, but I'm not 100% certain. This will each take 5 seconds, so this whole thing should take about 3 minutes. Oh, I always forget about the bounce. Alright, time to test. The best way to test is to simply make a little ring like this. Okay. That's gonna be painful. The fact that I can't just immediately do that is crazy. Which means that probably the fastest way to do it is to actually have 2 buckets. Or 2 barrels over there. One for this and one to transfer into. There's a lot of mobs in the mob farm, so I'm very quickly take care of them all. Okay, maybe it helped. Just not very fast. There we go. Ooh, come on, loot bag. What do you got for me? Ah. Stuff I've pretty much seen before. Time and time again. Oh well. Guess I'll just throw it all in here for now. I already got 23 of those. Alright. There we go. Got 2 of it now. Which now what do I do with it again? Like something specific I have to do with it. In order to make the right block. Alright. 4 of it to make a soul stone. I knew there was something specific I had to do. This stuff spreads like grass, if I remember correctly. So I'm just gonna boop, boop, boop. Even then, we just go into here. You just do that. Go over here. Grab 2 more of these. Or no, 2, 3. Huh. I made a mushroom. Neat. Should probably also make a water source over here. Let me see. I don't think there's anything underneath these blocks. Oh, there is in fact something specific underneath those. What about here? Nope. Right there's where it'll be then. Around, cutting the blocks I don't want. that. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Alright. There we go. Slime boots are actually pretty fun. It's rarely back. Dagger of Sacrifice, Redstone Alloy, and Void Crystal Sword. Void Crystal can be used to make not that many stuff, seems like, mostly tools and armor. Oh well. And then this, I'll just throw in there. What can this be useful? Block, redstone alloy block, redstone conduit, network conduit, inventory sensor, redstone alloy seeds, energetic thruster, vibrant thruster, redstone alloy sign. That, and then make ingot cast out of it. Gold, brass, and aluminum brass. Okay. Not the most useful thing in the world, but... Oh. Boom. Alright, these three are going to be done pretty quickly. Alright, this is close. This is not. Unfortunately. Oh. Ooh, furnace should be done now. Yep. So I'll do the next one. Alright, so I need the controller. These. I'll make one of these for now. This. I also need to make... Do I have any, like, regular glass in here? Or just a glass block in general? I don't think so. Which is sad, but oh well. Just, you know, have to smelt up a new one. Because I know I need a... Is it one that I need, or is it... Okay, it's just one. Perfect. And then the rest can be crafted into brick. That. Put that in. Let's see. This there, this there. And that can be filled up with lava. So this now has a brand new use. I need sand blocks. There we go. And a boom, boom. Alright, so now I got 7 of them. Since I need just... I don't think it matters if it's smelted or not, but I'll grab smelted just in case. 8 of these, which can be smelted into soul dust, which when combined with prudent essence makes solium dust. And these we combine with this. And I'm so close to having enough. Hey chickens, you done? Oh. Yeah. They're done. There is so much loot on the ground because of the chickens. Oh, time to commit slaughter. And after all that, this is where. Oh. Okay. Now it's all done. I'm gonna go ahead and. Oh, I got 2 spawning now. I have 9 iron. So much chicken on the ground. What can this even be used for other than food? Dirt, chicken jerky, cooked chicken, more cooked chicken, more cooked chicken, mushroom, nether wart. Okay. Dried twig leather. Or I can put it in a culinary generator. Interesting. It's kind of morally depressing, though. Oh well. Glowstone and cobweb. Alright. All these are done now, so. There we go. Boom, boom. Right, now I can make another solarium. There's soulstone. I got 16 of them, so I can make 16 soul dust, which can make 3 of these, but I need 9. I wonder if it's because of biomes, the reason why they're spawning. Forest Hills. Plains. So why are they not spawning over here? It's more Forest Hills. Is the in fact, biome-wise, this is closer to a river. Alright, I'm happy that I have squid spawns. Alright, let's finish. There we go. Whoa, not sand, grout. There's no inventory to actually search from. Tinker Tank controller. Big slabs, I guess. Oh, I can actually make more seared stone. I can then sear it into ingot cast to get seared brick. Alright. Go, got another 7. Boom. What up? 24, which means I can make 24 of these, which can create only 4 of these. I need this number to reach 45 in order for it to be enough. I feel like the Inferium essence is not growing anymore. Oh, time to speed it along. With another full stack. Minus a little bit, but still did not do it. Unfortunately. Ooh. Mother uncommon. Seems like that's all. Alright. Prismarine, which I can get. Shards. Okay. Oak wood can be turned into wood chippings. She needs to make sponge and dirt. And just that. Nothing else. How unfortunate. Oh well. Approaching an hour now on live streaming. Yep. Boom and boom. I have a feeling this is not going to grow like any more than it already has. I mean, I do have enough to make I need to actually grab the seed. Again. Alright. Here, put that there. Surround it. I just need to slowly build this up. So I can get the tier 2. Alright. 86. Okay, so it might be able to be influenced by the bone meal that I use. Oh well. I'm not gonna let it bother me that much. Whoa. And now that's at 71, very fast. That's at 86. I'm hoping that's just a right click and I don't have to like right restart it. Another stack is done. Which unfortunately, not a lot compared to this. I hope 11 by 11 is the biggest I can go. I might have to like cut it small. Yeah, so 86 and 71. That's fine. I'm actually to make something real quick. And that's gonna be an egg collecting thing. Let's now this one. This will flow into a double chest. I'm gonna go very quickly create. I don't know why I went into that chest. Oh, double chest. And then I'm gonna go over here, grab a slab. Here. Oh, power's out. Okay. Not good. Power on that went out. I didn't even realize it went out. Oh, it looks like this is the last of it that I'm going to be getting for a while. Maybe there's something extra I could do in extra utilities. So it's an ender generator, enchanter, frosty generator. It's a culinary generator, which I could do. Actually, I'm gonna give that a try. Culinary generator, 2 redstone, 5 crops, cooked piece of food. I'll just go ahead and cook this up. I don't think I have a regular furnace anymore. I'm gonna have to make that now. Alright. Boom. I'll just take this out. Just use it for now. So I'll cook that. And I need 7 of these, and I'll throw the rest of the grout in. Let's see. It said potatoes could work, but I'm going to use this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I need redstone, which I only have 1 of. I could break that over there. I guess I'm not really using that as much now that I have that built. But still though. Maybe I could break one that's not in immediate use. There we go. Alright. Alright. And I need to... I'm gonna go ahead and piece of cobblestone in there. Just grab that and then throw the grout in. So that way this does not go to full weight. Alright. And then for this part, that there, that there. This. And then I need iron out of this one. Beautiful. I need 8 planks from there. New chest. New hopper. Oh. Oh. Oh my. Okay, that's gonna take ages for it to work. But I suppose it is free in Ferronium. Okay, that. And I suppose I could smelt a little bit more glass. That. Go ahead and place 3 more seared bricks. There. Still need 27 more. I still need 27 levels. I'm still 12 away. Oops. Alright. You guys could probably figure out what it is I'm building. Alright. Full of glass, hopefully it's enough. Not anymore. And now I need a lava. Go over here. This. And then just do this until it's got a full thing. Then I can take it over, place it there. This block. I do need one more block of sand. Smelt it down. So I can put a cap on it. There we go. That should protect it all. Should be the right word. Alright. Now it's time for the fun part. Everyone give me your dang eggs. Whoa. Okay. Little bit more. There we go. I'm just gonna go ahead and take out the massive amount of manure that's in all these guys, because oh my. There we go. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it straight into the big old chest. There, this there, that there, these two there. That culinary generator. Now, what can you cook down? A whole bunch of not raw chicken. What? Is raw chicken seriously one of the things that can't work in there? What the hell? That's a little dumb. But yeah, that works. Sure, I guess. I need to make it a dispenser. Which won't be hard because I need another piece of redstone. Hopefully I can get from over there. Kind of broke it, but didn't at the same time. Oh. Alright, time to make the dispenser. Wrong way. There she is. I don't think I can reach that block anymore. It's annoying because now I gotta break another piece of glass. But I can still do that, so it's all fine. What the? Glass has a drop? I can recraft glass. Oh, that's amazing. There we go. Okay. Any more chicken stuff? I have 5 more eggs. Which I am now realizing I can't exactly up there. Oh, actually, I can. It's just a slightly convoluted route to get up there. So I can go all the way around. No. Just above it. That's how eggs. Ooh, is there any eggs in here? Egg. No egg. Ooh, actually, I can go ahead and get started though. With some chicken stuff. And then I can turn this into fuel. Right? Right. 48. It is slightly better than bread. Okay. I need a way to activate that now. Might just borrow some of this for now. And you go ahead and get blocks from here. Two, three, boom. This to up here. Alright. So up and now go up here. Fill off here. Which I know is really close to this thing, but it's fine. Oh, okay. So this cannot exist. I gotta go back and grab some more of the stuff. Just two to grab here. One from there. All that. And I can slowly grab them all. I think. Go up here. Still got my speed. Okay, I don't know what burned. Oh, it's probably just a whole bunch of manure. That's fine. hope this works. I'll be very sad if it does not. Oh, back over here. Unfortunately. Alright. There we go. So I got 4 more going. Ah, squid dying down here. Oh yeah, it was just spitting out chicken manure. Oh, a whole bunch of farming. Okay, I guess that's kind of useful. But oh well. Alright, let's just go ahead and throw some of this stuff in here now. Let's throw the book of quills. I don't remember what the quick sort is. I know I've pushed it once before, I just don't remember which button it was. I thought there was like a button. Oh well. So I got this search, which works. Alright, more eggs. You have an egg. Let's see. You got an egg. You have an egg. You don't. You don't, but you had a piece of iron. Alright. Some more eggs I could throw in there now, so let's go ahead and do that. We got some grown-ups now. Next egg in less than a minute. Bone meal is going to clog it. Alright, so I gotta go in there every once in a while and get the bone meal out. Which means that chicken manure is gonna be the same thing. Oh, I thought that was gonna be a big brain, but apparently not. Unless I actually like build a sorting machine, like sort it all out. probably won't for a little while, especially since we only got like half an hour on the stream left before we get to the 2-hour mark. Alright. What could emeralds be used for? I got 5 of them. Carousel events, network card, CPU core, dimension editor. Student Jackson types demos to exist. This cannot be undone. Demo is lost, so be careful. Okay. Hmm. Oh, okay. That's cool, I guess. This is very quickly dying of power, but then I can throw this in, and everything is fine. Because cooked chicken generates a lot. Okay. Alright, the lava is not going to be very kind to this world, it seems. Time to fight the fire. Before it spreads too much. I probably shouldn't have built that thing super close. Should have built it over in like the cobblestone area, but I didn't, and now I'm paying the price. All I gotta really do is just chop down all the parts that are going to be soon to be exposed to fire. Other tools as well, so now I could get this all saved before it burns everything to the ground. Okay. That fire is still spreading. And I'm also going to stop here. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, glass doesn't work. Skip. Sorry. Down here, I believe. Oh, where's the crook? Oh, I have one in my inventory. Oh. Okay, the fire's gone. Fire's done. I think it was in part of me, you know, thinking quickly and catching it early, because Metro was like over there working and didn't catch it. All this would have been completely gone. Thankfully, only minor damage was caused. Well, time to go replace that. Alright. slight damage, but in the end, not too much. Easily rebuild. Especially since the majority of what I lost was slabs. I actually think that was all that I lost. The fire started to spread down the trees, which is why I started to like chuck them all down, so that way the fire wouldn't spread downward. Because if it would have got to this, sort of spread, there's not a lot that I could really do to stop it. Unfortunately. Yeah, actually cut all this away. So turning this into an inferior. Verdant sprig. Alright, I don't know where that went, so it's time to leave and immediately join back in, so that way I can get my dirt seed back. And it's... ah, there it is. Alright. What is this? Another healing poultice, and that's it. I can burn the healing poultice, but it doesn't tell me by how much or how long. I want to get a feel of this. In fact, what I might do, I might cut this out and just build multiple layers of different seeds. So now I can have the benefit of all of them. I'm gonna put the seed stuff way down here. They'll probably get shuffled back into this, but oh well. Ooh. Real quick, lapis. 11 a bit. Which one's better? Flint gives me 5, iron is 10, diamond is 12. Alright. Now, before the video ends, I'm going to go through all this and see how many lapis stuff I can get. Because I want to try to open up some chance blocks before the stream is over. Alright, there we go, 32. Think can only get me 1. Yeah, only 1, but maybe the other 3 will grant some more. And I got 1 more piece of lapis. Can I get a second? Not that one, but there's plenty more. Alright, come on. little bit more. Okay. And I'll throw the other 7 into here. Alright. Let's go ahead and open that too. Oh my god, that was sick. Because of me jumping down onto it, the power of the bow increased exponentially, which is why I was able to kill it first try. Alright. What the? Ah! I have free lava. Nice. Well, I got a free pumpkin now, too. Which is nice. Did not have that before. Well, that's already breaking fast. Alright. Time to very, very slowly swim upward. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. There we go. And then I could just go. And I have speed. Alright. There we go. That chicken's actually lasted quite a while. These are trying to do bone meal, so it won't work as well as I had hoped. Oh. Alright. Well, now that I'm back up here, I guess I'll just go ahead and throw the stuff into the chest. Did get quite a lot done, to be fair. Getting a lot done is always really nice to see. Need more of those next episode. Oh, that was 40. Oh. Alright, well that's just gonna do it for today. So I would like to thank you all so much for tuning in to the stream, and then as well as for tuning into YouTube where this gets uploaded. I stream every Thursday and Sunday now. at the same time, 9:30 to 11:30. So Sundays is where you'll catch the Skyblocks. I'm calling it Skyblock Sundays. And Thursdays are going to be where the Cobblemon is going to be streamed. So I would like to thank you all so much for tuning into this stream. I will either see you all on the Cobblemon stream, where you simply don't care what Minecraft I play and just want to tune in, or I'll see you on the next Skyblock stream. Have a good night / morning / week to you all, and I'll see you next time. Take care now.